How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you?
Good. How was the observation from the last mock? Did you feel from the first to the second?
Yes, sir. I felt the improvement there, and I've tried to work on the questions from the previous mock.
Yes, yes, yes. So there have been some improvements, but we need to, refine a bit more. Right?
Yes.
So, so let's start. So tell us about the ongoing, you know, northeast में जो insurgency है. Explain about that.
Northeast insurgency is basically a process in which there is a fragmented society in terms of ethnicity. There are different groups which are fighting for their own claims. So, different
Mm-hmm.
insurgent groups have been formed in different states of the Northeast, Seven Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Recent issue we are seeing in the state of Manipur, where the mighty Kuki
Mm-hmm.
conflict is on a
Mm-hmm.
spark. We have also seen the hands of foreign powers in the northeast states of our country, wherein we are seeing the rise of new weaponry which is used by the military, by the insurgent groups there. So the new rockets which are being used, the use of drones is the new warfare techniques which the insurgent groups are using, where
Mm-hmm.
which again gives us a confirmation that there are foreign powers such as China, which are providing these weapons to them to further leverage the fault line of our northeast.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about the Naga insurgency in particular?
Naga insurgency is again a form of insurgency where the Naga tribe is seeking its roots and wants to form a Naga province by combining the Naga people of the related and nearby states as well. So that is basically Naga insurgency, in which we are having insurgent groups such as NSCN, Kaplang, NSCN. IM, etc., which are again having their foreign bases in country like Myanmar from where they operate.
What is the name of that country that they aim to form? What is that name that they generally give?
So I'm forgetting the name right now.
Greater Nagaland?
Greater Nagaland. Yes, right.
What are the border disputes between Assam and Meghalaya? And can you name the recent incidents that have happened?
Sir, basically the main issue there right now is regarding the influx of people who are not the residents of the particular states. So that is the main issue which both the states are following right now.
Any particular incident you can recall?
So I cannot recall the particular incident right now, but that is the main cause of concern, cause of contention in both the states, which is changing their
Where,
demographics.
where is the Yangtze Ridge located?
I am not aware of this, so I'll look into it.
What are the challenges that Indian security apparatus faces in guarding its eastern frontier, particularly with China on the LAC?
So first is the mountainous terrain of the region, which is highly challenging, but our Indian
Mhm.
forces are capable enough to counter to all the adversaries there.
Mhm.
Second is the Chinese aggression, of course, the little skirmishes that happen on that area. And third is
Mhm.
the infiltration that happens from across the border, which is
Mhm.
illegal, which again leverages the fault lines of that region in our
Mhm.
country. These are the
Mhm.
major challenges, and of course, the hybrid warfare that China uses against India. That is the main bone of contention, of course.
What is the issue of CAA and how it has created tensions in India's northeast?
CAA is the Citizen Amendment Bill in which uh, refugees from the communities of Hindus, Sikhs, and other communities from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan are allowed to seek refuge in our country, India. It's a bone of contention for the people of Northeast because one, it's already changed the demography of Northeast, and if we are their main cause of concern is that if more people are allowed in from these communities, our demography will further be changed and our lives will be at stake in our home states of Northeast.
What are explain to me about India's relations with Bhutan and how the tri-junction with China near Sikkim. So you know about the Doklam incident that happened a couple of years ago. How do you see the India's relations with Bhutan evolving, particularly with respect to water sharing and hydroelectric projects that we have there, and how it is going to impact India's strategic interests in the region?
So Bhutan is a very close nation for us in our neighborhood policy. Neighborhood first policy. It plays a crucial role. And since we have seen that China is using its expansionist policy to counter India by using its neighbors, so Bhutan is a victim to one such policy of China. And India is doing its best to leverage its interest with Bhutan, and it's giving all the support needed. Bhutan is a friendly nation and is away from the war scenarios. And considering the fact that, sir, could you please repeat the last part of the question that you asked?
How it is going to impact our strategic interests in the region?
So we also know that we're having the Chicken Neck Corridor, which is located close to the Bhutan area. Hence, Bhutan being on our side is of imperative use to India, so that our narrow stretch of the Chicken Neck Corridor is not leveraged by China to counter us. So, in reality, it's imperative for India to maintain its relations with Bhutan.
Okay. Recently, the Honorable Supreme Court has observed that the caste-based segregation of work of the prisoners, it is the violation of their right to live with dignity. What do you have to say about that?
Sir, I've not read this issue in detail. I'll go into it further.
But how do you think that caste-based segregation of work isn't it antithetical to the idea of dignity?
So, yes, it of course is antithetical because, firstly, we need to understand that caste in itself is not an Indian origin word. It's a word that Europeans gave us when they were ruling us, and they used it to rule us on a divide and rule policy. And further, in the present age, caste is again used as a political tool to gather votes by particular political parties. And this, of course, has to be dealt in with detail so that the dignity of people are in place and they are not tortured on the basis of their castes.
All right, all right. Tell me three strengths of yours that will be critical for your service to the nation as an intelligence officer.
So, first, I am a conscientious person. I do my duties to the fullest. Whatever is asked of me to deliver, that will be delivered on time. And I believe in my values and ethics. Uh, so, I think all the critical information, will be safe in my hands. And that is a sure aspect of my personality. And I also believe that I have the required leadership qualities which are required for this role, and I'll do these duties to the fullest to make my team do the required work which is uh, asked for us to be done. So I think these are the basic qualities of mine.
Which sport do you play?
So I don't play any particular sport as such, but I like
Mhm.
to play badminton at times.
Okay. Uh, Hezbollah has observed that Israel firing missiles at its intelligence bases. We will retaliate effectively and very, very dangerously. What do you think that firing of missiles and the conflagration, the temperatures soaring in the Middle East, how does it augur for the entire world? Are we seeing an imminent World War III in the offing?
Sir, Hezbollah, we know, is an Iran-backed organization which works in the region of Lebanon. So, Iran, which in itself is under a political turmoil in its own country and is undergoing an economic crisis, and its population is also against the current Iranian regime. So, currently I feel there will not be a serious uh, war which will be escalating, but the tensions will be simmering for some time in the future. But if we consider that there are chances of World War III, that is not the case right now. But the uh, region as such will be under little tension for some time in future.
There have been reports that Israel might target the Natanz nuclear facility of Iran, and the temperatures are soaring. So, how do you see that? What can be done by global powers like the US, particularly, and the United Nations, and also India, in averting any nuclear conflagration? Because that will be disastrous for the entire world.
So, as per news, the USA has been a little reluctant to ask Israel or to support Israel in doing any nuclear facility, to touch any nuclear facilities in the state of Iran. So all the countries are considering ceasefire as the only option right now for the region. But if peace is meant as a surrender, as Israel sees it in that way. If it seeks peace, it is a sign of surrender. So much cannot be done in that aspect, and only peace on world. The other countries can only ask for peace, and the stakeholders such as Iran and Israel are the ones that are supposed to take action on that. So the call is all theirs to take.
What do you understand by sixth schedule of Indian Constitution?
So I'll look into it.
Okay. First schedule, can you tell me what is there in the first schedule?
Sir, again, I'll refresh my content on this part.
No, no worries. So the drug problem in Punjab is has been there for quite some time now, and we have seen the cross-border infiltration of drugs. Drug peddling is happening through drones and other media. What are the three steps that needs to be taken to uproot this menace? What are the three steps?
To counter the menace of drugs, firstly, what is required is to educate the youth, to create a sports environment in the state so that they do not go into the hands of drugs and don't find solace in that part. Secondly, we need the civil society help. We need to educate the society as well in terms of giving proper guidance and proper support, emotional, moral, physical, in any way, to the people who are right now suffering from this so-called disease of using the drugs. And
Mhm.
third, we need we can also ask help from the religious groups which are in place in the state, so that they can further provide impetus in dealing with the situation.
Apart from these steps, what else can be done on a spiritual level? Because this problem is much deeper rather than requiring just systemic efforts. At a spiritual level, what can be done?
So we can host collective community groups wherein we are having meditation camps on regular basis, wherein the old teachings of our gurus is brought into effect and is brought in front of the young generation, and how they wanted us to fight properly instead of finding solace in the drugs and etc. So I think these steps can be taken on a spiritual level, and providing incentives such as yoga and meditation can be a great step forward.
What is the junction of Eastern and Western Ghats called?
It's in Nilgiris, which is the name given there, junction of Western and Eastern Ghats.
Uh, can you name India's floating national park? Where is it located?
Sir, it's located in Assam. It's located in Assam, but I'm forgetting the name. I'll have
Are you
to
sure? Are you sure?
remember there. Sir, I'll look
I'm
into
asking
it.
about, I'm asking about the floating national park.
Yes, I'll look
Have,
into it.
have you heard about the Loktak Lake
Yes, Loktak Lake is
in Manipur?
there.
Tribal Lamjao National Park, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'll have to
Right.
refresh my mind on that aspect.
Right. So I think that's it for the interview today. Uh, let's hear it from you first. What are the observations?
Sir, polity was always the weakest part of mine, and so I have to work on those polity geography,
So
refresh
उसमें
my
तो
memory.
it was simple. Schedules, so you should know, na. This is very basic.
Yeah,
Schedule
I'll.
first is about India, yeah. Schedule 6 is about special status for these Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, right?
Hmm,
वो states का है. And
right.
ग्रेटर नागालैंड वो नाम थोड़ा सा पता होने से ठीक है. असम
Okay.
मेघालय कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के बारे में जो इश्यूज हैं वो आपको थोड़ा पढ़ लो. देखिए सिक्योरिटी से रिलेटेड ना थोड़ी ही चीजें हैं, उनको थोड़ा सा अच्छे से पढ़ना जरूरी है. और यांगसे रिज का सवाल पूछा था मैंने. यांगसे रिज जब चाइना ने लास्ट टू लास्ट ईयर एक वो किया था इंकर्जन तवांग सेक्टर में, वो जो लास्ट पॉइंट है उसको यांगसे रिज कहते हैं वहां पे. ऑलराइट. एंड नेबरहुड रिलेशंस थोड़ा ब्रश अप कर लो आप. नेबरहुड रिलेशंस इंडिया के उसको
Okay.
थोड़ा अच्छे से पढ़ लो. वो मैंने आई थिंक आपको पहले भी बोला है, उसको थोड़े से अच्छे से पढ़ लो. And
Okay.
about the caste discrimination in today's newspaper only, it came about the
Okay.
Supreme Court observation about prisoners and this thing. So, there's not much to bother, but yes, थोड़ा सा surrounding areas का India का neighborhood relations वो आप अच्छे से पढ़ लो. What are your observations?
Sir, I think I fumbled a little today. There was
Hmm. Hmm.
fumbling today. From
Hmm.
last time, I think I would rate a negative -1.
No, no, there is nothing
In,
negative. There is no negative. It happens. The interview was genuinely targeted to bring you under some pressure, but that's okay. That will happen in the interview also. So the thing is, easy questions you should not miss out. For example,
yeah.
the schedules and all that. Na? You should try to answer those questions. So that is the
Okay.
approach. That these questions are only answered to test your temperament,
Hmm.
because the examiner also knows that you know the answer, but just because of the exam pressure or interview pressure, maybe you're not able to answer that. तो उस पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना आपने. ठीक है?
Okay.
Anything that you personally feel that you want to ask?
So, if I would ask, how much pressure would they put us under? How much will they be
That
cross a lot of times, like from our
see,
answers?
it depends upon panel to panel and person to person also. Some people have a style of very critical style of questioning, so they will
Right.
try to put you under extreme pressure, but
Hmm.
they will give you very good marks also, right?
Okay.
Some people will be very nice and kind to you, but they may not give you marks. some people will be in between, right? So you will have to be ready for everything.
Okay.
Okay.
And sir, I also heard that there would be a psychologist sitting in the panel.
Don't
So,
think about too much about that. Psychologist or no psychologist, nothing is going to matter. You're a good
okay,
candidate. You're going into the bureau. Just the only thing is confidence. थोड़ा सा confidence maintain रखना है हमने.
okay.
Confidence को
Right.
नहीं छोड़ना है. One question here and there or one answer not given rightly doesn't bother. Knowledge का टेस्ट नहीं है, ये दिमाग में बिठा लो.
Right.
हम इस चीज को बिलीव नहीं कर पाते अंदर से, बट वो बिलीव करना है कि ये टेस्ट नॉलेज का नहीं है. अगर 10 सवालों का जवाब नहीं दे पाए तब भी कॉन्फिडेंस रह पाता है क्या? वो थोड़ा सा वहां पे यू हैव टू बी.
And sir, if like they ask us questions related to our life, like how much raw should we be in front of them? Like should
नहीं, रॉ
we?
रॉ रॉ नहीं होना है. रॉ नहीं होना है. आपको
Okay,
शुगर कोट करना है. शुगर कोट करना है. आप
okay.
ऑलवेज शुगर कोट है. ओनली
Hmm.
टेल whatever is required to be told,
Okay.
because that's the quality of a intelligence officer also. Don't
Right.
tell more than ask for. Even tell, यहाँ पे तो आपको बोलना है in general as a officer you have to tell less than what is asked, but यहाँ पे you tell as much as is asked. मतलब आंसर्स आपके ना ज्यादा लंबे होने चाहिए ना ज्यादा छोटे. दे शुड सफाइस. इतने
Okay.
छोटे भी नहीं होने चाहिए कि उनको लगे कि थोड़ा सा और बोलना चाहिए था, और इतने भी लंबे ना उनको बीच में टोकना पड़े कि नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. तो एक
Okay.
बैलेंस स्ट्राइक करना बहुत जरूरी है. और थोड़ा सा
Oh.
आप थोड़ा अच्छे से बैठ जाओ प्रॉपर, थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ, थोड़ा मतलब है ना, थोड़ा ऐसे थोड़ा जोश के साथ, थोड़ा
Yes, sir.
कॉन्फिडेंस एक्सूड करना है वहाँ. ठीक है.
Hmm.
वो
And
चीज थोड़ी सी.
so length of my answers, is it fine, or
Good, it's
should I?
good. It is good. It's good.
Okay.
Just that be more assertive. Rest everything is fine.
Yeah.
बाकी सब ठीक है. हाँ. बाकी नेबरहुड रिलेशंस थोड़ा रिवाइज कर लो. वो सब चीजें बाकी आई थिंक इट्स ऑल गुड.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Any
Thank you.
questions? Any questions?
That's it from my side.
Okay, all the best. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Good luck.
Thank you.